growing up, one of my favorite games to play was Animal Crossing. But I will say, Animal Crossing isn't for everyone. Sure, the game is fun and engaging, but some people might tell you it's just chores and a lot of work. But yeah, on some level it is work, but the work of designing your own town is fun. Either way, everyone remembers their first Animal Crossing experience. For some, it was Animal Crossing New Leaf. For others, it was Animal Crossing City Folk. But for me, it was Animal Crossing. But the thing about the first game is, there was a lot of ideas that never made it into future games, and the first one I wanted to talk about is the camera. And if you don't know what I mean by that, what are you doing here? For whatever reason, the camera jerks to the side to follow the view of your character. It's kinda annoying. Moving on. Another thing that was phased out in future games was balls. Okay, so there used to be basketball, soccer balls. You could kick around, toss them into the river. It was fun. But the most obvious thing that didn't last was the cone-shaped hats, and if you were a boy character, you'll have hat with horns. Yeah, horns. This was phased out as soon as Animal Crossing Wild World was released. In new installments, you can have all different kinds of haircuts. Fun fact about Wild World, though, when you press B and start running, you begin running slowly until you pick up speed. No one ever talks about this. Probably not important. Moving on to Animal Crossing City Folk. The biggest complaint is the grass, or the lack thereof. If you run enough on the grass, it will fade over time. The idea was to create a path where you might normally run, but I don't think people ran the same way every time. So play for 3 years and your town will start looking like the desert. This is something I really wanted to try myself, Nookazon, but I wasn't able to make an account. I tried signing in using my Google account. That didn't work. I tried registering using email. That didn't work either. So Nookazon is something like Amazon. You look for a certain item for a certain amount of bells and make plans to meet up in-game to acquire said item. By the way, I really need a mini diorama. I will pay top dollar. Now I really wanted to talk a little about Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, but I was unable to download it to my phone due to it not being on the App Store. Okay. Anyway, I'll make this brief. It was an Animal Crossing cell phone game where the game takes place in a campsite. That's all there is to it. We can't talk about Animal Crossing without talking about the amiibo figures and amiibo cards. You can use either of these in Animal Crossing New Leaf or Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, in another Animal Crossing game I'm not going to mention. When you collect the figures, you'll find iconic Animal Crossing characters. When you collect the cards, you can sometimes find different kinds of villagers. Going back to Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, this was a game that focused on designing homes, which is a small part of the Animal Crossing main series. Okay, with that all said, this is the end of the video, so I'm gonna go and play some Animal Crossing now. See you next time.